Hello, I'm Randy Lee. Welcome to our tutorial on how we install our Apex Competition Action Enhancement Kit striker spring. What I have here is our disassembled slide, and how you remove the striker assembly is using a small punch. Underneath and just forward of the striker engagement surface, there is a plastic spacer. That's the spring-loaded section that actually holds your cover plate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push it down towards the muzzle. That will free up the pressure off of the back plate, and you can slide the back plate off. Once you have that, you can press the firing pin blocker striker safety plunger, and that will free up the striker assembly. Now, if you have one of the earlier version strikers, which would be the revision A strikers, the spring cup here will actually be two pieces. The color and finish will also be probably a black metal oxide or melanite surface, so that's the way you distinguish it. This is the most recent revision B or upgraded striker assembly, which is more resistant to fracture when you're dry firing, especially if you dry fire a lot. So the way you remove the striker spring itself, I'm actually going to use the slide as a rest, and I'm going to press the striker back place back against the surface. That will allow me to compress the spring and pull off the striker cup, spring cups. And in this case, I don't know if you can see this, but it's a single piece on the revision B. That's how you can also tell. If this were a version of revision A or version 4, basically this would be two pieces that would come out. From here, all I have to do is remove the factory striker spring, take our competition version, and the way you can tell the difference is that our spring is actually longer than the factory spring by 3.5 to 4 coils. Ours also has two separate coils that are pressed up or compressed and flat, and that's what I'm going to put towards the back end of the striker. Then I can compress the spring, take the striker spring cup, slide it up into place, and now my striker assembly is back in one piece. To install it, you're going to reverse the procedure, install it back into the striker channel, press on the striker block plunger, press down on that plastic plate. The striker block itself will retain the striker assembly, and now I can start to fit my cover plate on. I come back underneath, press down on that plastic spacer, I slide it back in, and the slide assembly should be back in position. Check the manual operation of the safety, pull back on the striker slightly to check for any type of binding. I'm pressing forwards on it to make sure that the striker block itself is doing its job, which is interrupting or intercepting the striker. So everything looks good here. Now, if you've assembled or installed the rest of our competition kit into your frame, this is where you would finally check the ultimate trigger pull. So I'm going to reassemble the pistol, and we'll get a trigger pull reading with our trigger pull gauge. And let's just see what it says. Typically it should be under 3 pounds once everything is installed. And in this particular case, we're exactly at 2 pounds 8 ounces, which is 2.5 pounds. And that's exactly what we had engineered the parts to drop in at. If you have any other questions, please feel free to contact us at www.apextactical.com.